Welcome to today's conversation, an after-dinner chat. These conversations started with dinners where I get to introduce everybody at the table in a way that interests me, frankly. Dinners are always fun, sometimes useful, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if it's fun or if it's useful. It's just the fact that we're all connecting and we're making sure that we can see what's coming around the corner. And the next thing we do after that is just stay in touch with each other. Yep. We've ended up having dinner parties where people have made new jobs, we've got new contacts for work, and for me, it's been a way over the last 17 years to get to know some fabulous people who are always a little bit senior and a little bit fun and a little bit smarter, brighter, shinier than most. Today, we're diving into the murky and wonderful world of marketing, media, and ad tech, and how to get ripped off less. And I'm absolutely thrilled to be joined by Julia Linehan, founder and CEO of The Digital Voice, a well-loved ad tech specialist PR agency.
This episode is brought to you by jobsandadtech.com, the only jobs board dedicated to digital media and the ad tech industry. If you're hiring now, use promo code JWPOD, JWPOD, for a 10% discount on any package. Jobsandadtech.com, it's where ad techers go to find their next role.
Julia, thanks so much for joining us today.
You're
I
welcome.
would love to kick off, if I may, by asking you, what have you seen in the news this week?
Well, and you know me, James, I'd hate ever to be obvious. There's no way I'm going to talk about the fact that Google is now not getting rid of third-party cookies, or that Google's been ruled as a monopoly. That'd be far too obvious. What might have snuck under the radar is there was an article this week in Adweek about the state of the industry, and this was talking about the number of people we have in the industry, how much they're paid. What's really interesting is that money coming into the industry has gone up, but guess what? Wages have remained pretty flat. And in a period of 5 years, it's a 1% increase in the number of people coming into our industry. And I was thinking, I'm not actually surprised, but I think we need to do something about this. We have to show that this industry is, I've been in it 30 years this year. I still stand by the fact it's so cool and it's a lot of fun. The challenge is that people are seeing it as it's not secure. There's too much redundancies, there's too many layoffs, and companies have been remiss of going, profits are down, quick, cut people, instead of going, invest in the lifeblood that is your company, the people. Markets will improve. The market is showing signs of improving. I know it's been an incredibly tough time, but equally, show how appealing these roles are, how interesting and varied, and the people coming into it are just incredible that are in it. But what we probably need to do is start hitting the universities and showing that this is a route out of university or out of degree apprenticeships or out of college. Just make it more appealing. And I think that was I think it's probably gone under the radar, that Adweek article, but I thought it was absolutely fascinating.
That's why I didn't see that. In the old days, it was the cool thing to go into Adland, and you'd start off on the graduate trainee schemes. And I remember I applied to a whole bunch of them when I was at university, and ended up with J. Walter Thompson, may it rest in peace. And I landed in the media team because I felt that you'd end up doing a lot of photocopying if you went into the account handling team. Whereas in the media team, there weren't enough people, so you had to think and do. So it was much more hands-on. And I really enjoyed jumping straight in there. But it was one of the things that there were the rounds around the university rounds. Are we not recruiting enough from the best universities? Are we losing them all out to, where were you losing them to?
I think it's just not showing it as an appealing industry. And I think, the more, and I do get concerned that I think AI has incredible power and strength, but actually if it's starting to knock on effect of people the ads aren't as compelling, they're not as creative. There is an argument that people are making that you can remember ads from the 90s and noughties, but can you remember an ad that's stuck in your brain and so creative? And what we don't want to go down the path is it's all about a numbers game. It's just solidly about, because it's harder to reach audiences. And I think we have to start showing that advertising still remains a very innovative and creative vehicle and channel to reach consumers in a fun and engaging way. And also that the actual job and the variety of it can be interesting. What companies need to look at is obviously trying to, you hear terrible rumor stories, James, and you probably do too, of just long hours, low pay, threat of redundancies. None of this is making it appealing to people. I mean, I would say from my own experience now, I've run a company, the Digital Voice, for 13 years. Even when there's been ups and downs, and of course, we're at the coalface, we're an ad tech specialist PR agency. It's not been an easy ride for a few years. The one thing I won't touch is my team, because I think they're the lifeblood and I will protect them over profit, because that's so important to me, because markets go up and down. We've both been through the 1999 .com crash, the 2008 shit show. So this is not news. This is just ride it, take the punches, roll with it a little bit. But don't cut the very people that are hard, because as soon as you do, it sends waves through the rest of the company and everyone starts backing off, looking for other jobs, not giving their all, which it just ends up with other people having to do longer hours, take on that work, poorer results, knock-on effects. To protect your lifeblood, protect your people.
I love that, because we talk all about the technology and how everything's the most important thing, that what's the latest tech that you've got. And especially in today's AI-driven world, it's looking at the human element of it, and that is vital to what it's doing. I wanted to the article that jumped out for me this week was the Lloyd's Banking Group that reckons that on average, Oasis ticket buyers trying to go to the Oasis gig this summer are being ripped off by 436 quid on average. And there are millions going, and most of the concert ticket scams are Oasis fans. I just thought that was a fascinating little stat of fraud in everyday's world. And the reason that I thought it was interesting was because of your role on the your role. And I'd love to hear a little bit about what is UK SAFC up to and why.
Okay, really good. Yeah, I mean, it's a fraud, and how it impacts consumers is a massive risk and threat to us all. Fraud that impacts our industry hasn't gone away, and I've been involved throughout the 30 years in various different forms, trying to improve brand safety and fight ad fraud. I seem to be a one-woman vigilante on this. So it was made natural sense for me to be a founding advisor of the UK Stop Ad Fraud Coalition. And it's an industry-led initiative that is using people within the industry and encouraging people within the industry to be the ones to make the decisions on how we regulate and improve. There is a second strand to this. For the first time, a coalition has also had a political arm to it. So there's two sides of the UK SAFC, and trying to make a difference. And there's Lord Carlisle is incredibly engaged, and we have Ian Moss as a spokesperson, Nick Swimer on the legal team, and those people. John Arnold and Ryan Denning are massively involved in trying to push an agenda politically. Our job, and that's why I encouraged you to be on it, and other big names that will make a difference in what we're doing in the industry. And the latest initiative is the Know Your Customer. And it's really now we're looking for industry collaboration. We're doing an industry consultation program at the moment, starting with the SSPs and DSPs and ad exchanges, going, if you can just implement this very simple Know Your Customer process, that is going to help to massively reduce ad fraud. It's very, very simple. Do you know where your ad is seen? Do you know where your money is going? And Know Your Customer will solve those problems and will make a big difference, because we're not making the headway we should be making on reducing ad fraud. And I think only as a collective can we make change happen.
So that's sort of leads me nicely into the second part of this recording, is to say, what are people? How do you help people get ripped off less specifically in the world of ad tech and media?
Oh, this is an interesting one. I don't know. So I hope it's within. I mean, so I'm on a webinar on. I'm hosting a webinar on Monday called "Does It All Add Up?" with Colin Townsley and Eddie Leverton and Nick Swimer, and trying to talk about this Know Your Customer. So I will, from my side, be still involved in UK SAFC and pushing that and working with the industry. I'm going to take it from a different angle. I think I believe in ad tech PR, and we're not really PR as much as amplification agency. And I always set up the business to make sure it wasn't prohibitive to companies feeling like they're paying a big retainer, not getting returns from it. So my way of not ripping off the ad tech industry is to be a massively outputs driven agency that you pay and you get deliverables and you get to see the transparency all the way through. And we jump in and just go, we'll take that one, we'll do that for you, we'll do that for you. And every single output is based on the bills they get. They can see tangible outputs and deliverables. So I hope I'm doing my little part in playing a role in actually showing the PR and amplification and events and all of those things that make up those aren't just big retainers for very little, because I think there's been some agencies that possibly have gone down that route and done us a disservice. So I was trying to fight back on that.
They're always the bad actors and everything, and it's trying to work out
Aren't
how
they
do you
just?
differentiate from those bad actors along the way.
Yeah, and I think as well, there's other people doing this. And very quickly, I thought I'd mention I like what John Walsh is doing for the ad tech industry on like jobs in ad tech, of showing, and I love a lot of the recruitment companies. There's some really good ones out there. So there's very few that I know and love that are not doing a good job, but equally it's still an expensive thing to do. And I think jobs in ad tech have just gone down the route of going smaller ad tech companies coming through, just don't have the budgets to invest, but want good people and need good people. I like what he's doing on that.
Is he a paying client yet? Because he's on
No.
mentioning him and talking about him like that.
No, I'd never mention a paying client on here, James. No, he's obviously we're friends and supporters, and I'm a big part of the ad tech community groups that he set up. As you know, I co-founded Digital Leading Ladies, Spill, Women in Can, and I just really believe in communities. And I love what he does actually. That he's a little bit like, you can't sell. Don't use it as a sales vehicle. It's about community and it's about advice. And oh my God, he rules it with an iron fist, but in a good way.
Wonderful. It's the silly season coming up. What's going on over this silly season?
Oh God, it gets big. I just sort of brace myself. I was saying to my family, look, just bear with me over the next 12 weeks.
You in
For
August.
I'll see you it's July. We finish with Madfest and Soho House Festival are the big ones in July, and working backwards from that, IPX is big at the end of June. Cannes is obviously, I've been in my 10th year, it'll be at Cannes, 10th year at Madfest, I think it is. So we go very big there. We support a lot of our client partners out there and the industry and digital leading ladies and stuff like that. And prior to that, there's a lot of webinars coming up, and then we've got an interesting event that I am involved in at the start of June, which is actually about hot trends in ad tech, looking back on H1 and what are going to be the trends going forward. But we're doing it differently, of getting 5 people to pitch their trend, not their company, their trend, and Bill Fisher from eMarketer to judge on it and us to debate. Look, this is where you got bet your dollars, and that'll be on the 4th of June. So
is that more info
to follow, but yeah, in person. Reving are hosting it in their office with Sentient, who do Programmatic Pulse. We kind of got 3 of us, the Digital Voice, Reving, and Programmatic Pulse, kind of doing this.
Sounds fabulous. So I look forward to getting there. If I
You'll
can
get an invite.
Right, I wanted to jump to the final segment of this. The quick fire round, the high five quick fire round. So here are the 5 questions I'm going to throw at you. In context of Ripped Off Less, who is your hero?
Oh God, in the context of I'll tell you what, Chris Pettit from Reving, because their company is responsible for making sure funding flows. And if you think about it, I think there's 50,000 companies' business went under last year just due to late payments. So what they do is they step in and take on those payments. They just had a big round of funding. I love what they're doing for the industry and the economy. So Chris Pettit, Reving.
Fantastic. What's your best decision?
Starting up the Digital Voice, no question, would be 1, love it, and stopping drinking, 2.
What's your worst decision?
Oh God, probably having an absolute ball for 25 years. No, my worst decision was probably, my children are both one's at uni, one's going to uni. I went to uni in 92 to 95, and I seriously partied and thought it was just 3 years of fun. I kind of regret that now. I had a laugh, but with terrible decision, really.
What's your funniest moment?
Oh, do you know what? I was thinking about this. That must be terribly boring that I don't know that I have any. I did decide that to show my party trick of sticking my whole fist in my mouth once. That was terrible. But one of the other funniest ones was I was at an event and I was doing a panel just before the drinks break. So I thought I'll get the whole audience involved, 200 people. I kept throwing them all questions and I'd get them to raise their hands higher, lower on questions. And then I said, I want you all after 3, 2, 1, shout out the word that gives you the ick or the phrase that gives you the ick. And just this audience bombarded. And the number one was linked in with, "We are thrilled." That takes top spot. But it was very funny. It's just if you're a panel host, don't forget your audience are the fifth panelist and get them involved because it's very funny.
I like that. I love that. All right, one more person. I'm going to ask you to recommend one more person for me to speak to on this, or to come to a dinner. Someone that you think you can introduce me to that might be willing, and tell me A, why they're interesting, and B, what angle you see in them that most people don't. Or maybe that's not a thing.
I think probably one is Antonia Faulkner from Samsung Electronics, and I think she's been on a really important journey and is now works across all the. She's the most senior female within Samsung Media Services. They've grown, she's helped grow the team from 50 to 250 people. It's if you can imagine Samsung Electronics, Samsung TV Plus, Samsung Ads, it's in a constant slate of flux. So I think as a senior communications expert within that, her navigating it, building, leading and growing a team has been exceptional. Antonia Faulkner for me.
Fantastic. That's your high five. Julia, thanks so much for coming on
You're welcome.
to this and having a chat with me today. And I look forward to catching up with you very shortly in person.
Thank you, James.
Cheers.